This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, great. So we'll do a quick round of introductions, starting with you, Allison.
Hi, this is Allison. I'm the Director of Impact and Communications at Global Giving, and I'm here with my colleague, Miranda.
Hi, everyone. I'm Miranda. I'm on Global Giving's Programming Communications team.
Great, Miranda. Brian?
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Vianney. I'm the Leadership and Training Strategic Advisor at Neuro International. I'm calling from New Haven, Connecticut right now. Great to be on the call and looking forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Great. And Diana?
Hi, everyone. I'm Diana. I'm Advocacy and Public Policy Manager here in Mexico. I'm here in Mexico all by myself right now, and we'll be waiting for Lorena to join the call.
Okay, great, Diana. Thank you. Liz?
Hi, this is Liz Fanning with Core Africa in New York City.
Great. Okay, Matt.
Hi, everyone. This is Matt Laniel from Neuro International in the DC metro area.
Great. Okay, and Nora?
Hi everyone. First time joining one of these calls, so I'm really excited to be here and get to know what this is all about. I'm the executive director of a nonprofit that I founded 4 years ago called the Chain Collaborative, and I'm currently calling from Ecuador.
That's fabulous. Great. Thank you. And Sarah? Sarah, you're muted. Sarah, you're still muted. I don't know if you're still there. Okay. Well, the computer thinks Sarah's still there, so we'll hear from her when she, oh, wait a minute, she's just connecting again, so maybe she lost her connection or is connecting by phone. Sarah, are you there now? Hi, Sarah. Can you introduce yourself?
Hey, John, can you hear me? This is Sarah.
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Cool. We actually have 4 people in the room right now at PACT. My name is Sarah Cosling, and I'm working with Locus and also at PACT.
I'm Ann Hendricks-Jenkins, Global Director of Capacity Development for PACT. I'm Pam Hobbs. I'm Pam Hobbs. I'm the Senior Director of Knowledge Management and Learning.
Wonderful.
And we also are going to be joined by
Svetlana Domosky, who is the Director of the VP of the Transformation Lab at PACT.
Fabulous. Okay, well, here in Accra, Ghana, I'm John Coonrod with the Hunger Project, and I'm here with my colleague Isaac, who will introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Isaac Oleswaje, and I'm the Director for Partnerships and Resource Mobilization for the Hunger Project, Ghana.
Great, thanks, Isaac. So let me just remind us why we're all here. We're all here because we want community-led development for everyone, everywhere. It's a fundamental human right that people should have voice in the decisions that affect their lives. We share a vision of taking that to scale with lots of community mobilizers because it requires real transformative processes to move from hopelessness to hopeful. We need the partnership of governments and their partners to do that, and that's going to take advocacy. So that is our simple theory of change. We see there probably the most likely pathway to national scale is to build some consortiums and access some serious bilateral funding to do this in partnership with government so the government gets familiar with it and then take it into a national program. Countries like the Philippines and Afghanistan and Indonesia and Korea have all sort of followed that pathway. And we see doing our strategic action to further us down that line. So as I mentioned, we're here in Ghana, and I will, here you see Isaac talking to everyone yesterday at the big event at the Kofi Annan ICT Center of Excellence, which was a beautiful space that he organized. So I'm going to hand it to Isaac, and I'm going to go to the next slide.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kunrod. So I'm happy to announce that we were able to launch the Ghana chapter of the community-led development movement. And Dr. John Kunrod was with us. We were very happy he was able to come down to join us for this event. So just to give you a rundown of what happened yesterday, and first to introduce to you the people sitting on the stage there. The first on the left is our country director, Samuel Afrani, and of course, followed by Dr. John Kunrod. And the chair of the program is the lady in the middle there. She's Nana Asantua. And the man in the smoke is a prominent chief in Ghana who gave a presentation I will talk about. And finally, but not the least, is the Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, who represented the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development. So we had a very nice program yesterday. The lunch was preceded by a press conference where the country director, Samuel Afrani, read out a press statement, followed by questions from the press. There was heavy presence of the press yesterday at the Kofi Annan ICT Center of Excellence. Dr. Kunrod gave an excellent background of the movement at the global level, and also the objectives of the movement. As usual, he was at his best. The keynote address was delivered on behalf of the minister by the deputy minister, who is in suit there. The chief, who is in smoke, stimulated our minds and challenged us to rethink the role of community-led, or the role of communities in development, and the role of traditional authorities. He asked us to analyze properly the power play between the people and then community leaders. In his view, power resides in the people and not the leaders. So as chiefs, they take their power from the people. Sometimes they refer to the people as the subjects, but he says the traditional leaders are rather the subjects. This was food for thought for us as far as community-led development is concerned. Then we had paper presentations also from CSO representatives of CSO organizations on the need for a paradigm, on empowering local communities for accelerated progress towards achieving the SDGs. The role of civil society. And then we had an excellent presentation on the need for paradigm shift. A paradigm shift As far as conventional financing, development financing is concerned, this was delivered by Christian Aid. And finally, there was a panel discussion on how to leverage flagship policies of government to accelerate local development and to achieve the SDGs. The theme of our launch was localizing the SDGs. After the panel discussion, there was a lengthy debate on the impact of these policies on community development. So we had a pleasant day yesterday. We are happy we were able to launch the Ghana chapter. We are now discussing how we take the whole movement forward in Ghana through existing networks such as the INGO Forum and the CSO platform on sustainable development, on the sustainable development goals. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thank you, Isaac. I was particularly pleased. Just as PACT has a lot of people on today's call, we had, let me back up. We had a good representation from PACT at the meeting. The Canadian High Commission was there. The representative from UNDP was there. There were the country director of Heifer was there, and and as you see in this note, we had the financial support of WaterAid, Oxfam, and Christian Aid in support of the event. So it was a stellar event, and I was really delighted I could be here. Before we go on, are there anyone have any questions for Isaac or myself about the Ghana launch?
Hi, this is Anne from PACT. Thank you so much for that summary. It was almost as good as being there. I love the dynamic group of people that you got, especially the idea of hearing from the traditional authority with regards to power dynamics as to who's leading who at the community level, and also that kind of dynamic relationship of traditional leaders and being responsive to and driven by their community's voices. So I look forward to hearing more about that in the future, because I think that represents a lot of potential for us to add nuance to how we understand what community-led development can look like.
Yeah, exactly. And this guy was truly awesome, and a lot of it was put on video. And the video guy should be getting us the clip soon. I mean, he was quoting Frantz Fanon, and he was really asking people to have the big scope of kind of the history of community-led development, because that's of course where development began, was in communities, and that he said we really needed to be warriors if we're going to transform this paradigm from top down to bottom up. So he was definitely very dynamic, as were these three young activists who were really challenging the government officer in a friendly way. But there was it was I would say more than merely dynamic group. I mean, it got very very heated discussion, which always I see as a good sign.
Yeah,
okay.
And that's a testament to the movement for community-led development, that you set up that environment where those kind of discussions could happen, because they sound really state-of-the-art with regards to moving forward. So thanks again for that.
Oh, sure. Well, thanks to Isaac and his team and all the groups that were participating. So in Malawi, as I shared in an email, we have kind of the first peer-reviewed evidence of the impact of community-led development in the field of community health that I've seen this year. There are some earlier ones, but I do recommend it because it really makes the point. And it was a lot of external evaluators, and they said, look, this community mobilization and training isn't cheap, but it really does, and it's not fast. You have to take time, but it really pays off. And so I hope that we can find ways. I've been sending it to all my friends in the global health world, and because in international development funding, health is where the money is, and the other point that this article makes is that if you're doing programs like this, where there's, because they know that integrated approaches are better, you really would be smart to do it in the context of an integrated development program. And they talked about that as well. So now let's hear from a few other places and countries. Diana or Lorena, do you want to tell us what's happening in Mexico?
Yes, John, thank you. Well, we want to share that in this month, this time, the organizations in the movement have a commitment on CLD. We all know that, but we want to assure that we are understanding the same. So we believe that common language is based for everything. So we work on an online survey for getting a consensus on these concepts, and that's why. That's why Silvia Hernandez, our advocacy coordinator, translated the manifesto, so we can build ownership here in Mexico, and because many of the organizations, if the movement doesn't speak English, so we did that for getting this consensus about the CLD concepts. And we have been working in creating the guidelines, a guide for the Mexican movement to be a kind of a coexistent agreement that will improve and empower our work. And as you know, one of the main activities in Mexico has been the community-led reconstruction. And since the earthquake first anniversary is approaching, the organizations that have worked on this are preparing a systematization for lessons learned. And we will be sharing this with you as soon as we have the final product. And finally, last August was the movement's launch anniversary here in Mexico. So we're preparing a strategic planning session for the movement activities for next year, 2019. And that calls for leadership of all the organizations, especially with the new administration, which is a big deal right now for us. And I think that would be all. I don't know if you have questions or something.
No, thanks. That's a great summary, Diana. And please do send us the Spanish version of the manifesto so I can post it.
Yeah, of course.
Our colleague Ahmed couldn't be on today's call. He's actually in Turkey today. He was in a study course in Geneva. He normally lives in the Gaza, but he really heads up our Arabic outreach, and he's also translated the manifesto into Arabic. So,
oh, great.
Yeah, so we'll put those both on the website as soon as we have them in hand.
Yeah, of course, we will send it as soon as we have the final version of it.
Great, very good. And I don't see Paul on the call. I think Paul Mondo from Kenya was going to be on the call, but Kenya is my next stop. I fly there in a few hours from now, and Heifer and Global Communities are hosting a meeting where we'll not only be discussing the movement for community-led development, but some of the folks in this meeting were very involved in the locust workshop that happened a few months ago. So they have a ream of questions that they want to discuss about how this merger will work. So thanks especially to you, Sarah, for moving us into sort of clear thinking and alignment and getting ready for that merger. So that'll be happening. And then what I hope to come away with is an actual date for the launching in Kenya. Liz, do you have any news from Morocco or Senegal or any of your countries?
Well, the biggest news for us is that we're expanding to Rwanda. We're just opening our office, and we're planning to start training for 80 volunteers in the 4 countries next month. So.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That is great.
The swear-in for the first group in Rwanda is set for October 12th. I definitely plan to be there for that, and I would love to include any CLD networks that are in Rwanda. We can certainly talk about it at the swear-in ceremony like we always like to do.
Well, that would be great. There's actually a number of groups in Rwanda who've been eager to start. So I'll get that. But, there was sort of nobody stepping forward to lead it. So let's pull that list together. I'll send out an email, a request for everybody to give us their Rwanda contacts, and we can really start to pull that together.
That would be great. Our country director was the former country director for FHI 360, so I'm sure she has a lot of networks with other NGOs already. And we're looking now to sign on development partners of NGOs to work with over the course of the year. So I'd be happy to hear from anybody who's doing work in Rwanda.
Great, very good. The other thing I wanted to mention about other countries is that I had a meeting with Susan Wong, who's head of CDD at the World Bank, and we discussed a number of countries. It was looking a little over a year ago, we were meeting with both a number of civil society groups and the World Bank task team leader for a big CDD program in Haiti that the government has postponed. So, but she's given me new contacts, and we'll chase after that. And I think a lot of our other, and then in just a moment, I'll also talk about what's happening relative to our movement with China and France. Before we go on, is there any other news from any other countries before we go to the next topic? Okay, so then let's talk a bit about our impending merger with Locus. This website, which with this beautiful Hunger Project photo on it, is going to transfer its resources to the CLD website kind of at the beginning of 2019. And so that'll be a little project, but through the rest of the year, even though Locus will no longer officially be in business from October 1st onwards, the locus.ngo website will continue, and we'll cross-link it with the community-led development website. And then we'll transfer, they've got a lot of great articles and material and stories on there that will move to our website. The other is that Sarah convened a meeting at the UN Foundation last week with the leadership from Locus's research and learning working groups. 2 working groups that their very existence is why I joined Locus, why the Hunger Project joined Locus, because we saw the huge need for evidence and research to buttress our case for moving hundreds of billions of dollars of public resources out of the hands of central governments and into the hands of communities. And Locus really had that as a central focus. And so they are finalizing, and maybe Sarah, you can give us an update, but they're finalizing a survey to see what kinds of research and learning approach both Locus and the broader CLD movement membership is interested in the coming bit of time. Sarah, anything you want to add?
I think you hit the nail on the head. We're just refining the survey now, and then we'll be sending it to all Locus and CLD members in the coming weeks to see who's interested in getting involved with the learning and research working groups and exactly what they are and what they do. So look forward to that.
That's great. I know my Mel team in New York is very eager to participate, and one of the possibilities we discussed at this meeting was that if we knew, for example, what member organizations actually have a learning agenda and whether they'd be willing to share those, there's probably a lot of relevant work going on inside our organizations that those of us who represent the organization on these calls may not know about. So I'm going to hope that people will reach into their organizations, to their monitoring, evaluation, research, learning teams to see how they can contribute to this collective body of evidence and research. Okay, so the coming event is that the UN General Assembly begins on the 18th of September, and we do have an event. So some Chinese youth representatives at the United Nations have contacted Muhammad Yunus, who is going to participate, and he has reached out to the French embassy, to the French mission to the UN, and they have committed to hosting us inside the UN boundary. What we don't know yet is what time, and that'll be very crucial, but I do want to have everyone note this date of September 25th and start planning around it. I'm not sure what time our side event will be on that day, but we know it's on that day. And then around that, immediately before or after, depending on when it is, we'll try to bring together any of the CLD people who are in New York for the UN General Assembly. Hopefully we can do that before our side event so we can kind of get our act together. But in general, it's a chance for an in-face meeting for people who have flown in from India, Bangladesh, all over the world. It also gives us a chance to get access to some planning ministers and other ministers who come together for the UN General Assembly. Then later in the year is the G20 summit. Lorena, you've always sort of been our voice at the G20. Do you know if you're going, or is anybody else on this call going to be there this year?
No, John, actually the C20 was last August and we couldn't go, and we won't go this year. The dates are very inconvenient for Mexico as a country as well, because it's the day, precisely the day that the new administration is taking office.
Ooh, wow. Yes,
yeah.
I understand. Okay, so we'll have to get to our friends in America Solidaria and see if they're not on the call today. They've had a big leadership change in America Solidaria, but what I'm hoping to do is that they will be able to represent us at the G20 related events. COP24 is coming up in Poland. I only have one friend on our mailing list in Poland, but if you know people who are going to COP24, I know my colleague from Peru will probably be there. Then the 16 Days of Activism, starting on the International Day to Halt Violence Against Women, and carrying through to Human Rights Day Human Rights Day this year is a very big day because of the 70th anniversary and of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So I know my organization is going to do lots of media around the Universal Declaration in the fall. We hope the movement will as well. So several of you have gotten me your social media contacts, and we will really try to have people renew their deep appreciation for human dignity and the human rights that human dignity bestows. Then, 2 days later, are two other events. Interaction, the US-based NGO consortium, has its CEO retreat, and this would be an opportunity for us to get several of the member CEOs from movement members together to look at how they can bring their voice to advocating for community-led development as they travel around the world. And also there's the Partnership for Maternal and Child Health is having their partnership forum the same day in New Delhi. And that's a huge opportunity for us to push as much evidence and language about the critical importance of community ownership, community engagement for maternal and child health. So those are our coming events. Any comments, questions, additions? Okay, then I think we're almost done. We've moved quickly. On the day after our side event, we will have our next meetings. As usual, we'll have one really early in the morning, East Coast time. This is our last day of daylight savings time in the East Coast of the United States, and then another 4 hours later. And as I mentioned, today's meeting has been recorded, and I will send that around to everybody on our mailing list. So let me just, oh great. There's one more point, and anybody else can add additional points. Allison has said, could we please share Liz's email address so she could share their Rwandan contacts. And Global Giving has a lot of good contacts in Rwanda. So Liz, I will, if that's fine with you, send out the contact list to everyone, including Global Giving.
I just typed in my email address on the messages.
Great, yep, I see it.
Yeah, I would be thrilled to hear from anyone. I'm also going to be in New York for the UNGA, so look forward to seeing you there.
Oh, fabulous. Really good. Okay, then, is there any other business from anyone? Okay, then, thank you all for your time and good listening and contributions today, and I'll look forward to hearing from you, and I'll get today's proceedings out to everyone. Thanks again, and thank you for hosting us here, Isaac, and the Ghana team. So don't they have awesome internet from here? I'm really impressed. So thank you all, and see you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye, John.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm happy to be by your side for this call.
Yeah.